Hi, everybody. This is Elektra Yao, immigration attorney. We have offices in the heart of New York City, right across the street from Macy's, and in Clifton, New Jersey, in northern New Jersey, but we work with clients all over the United States. So today I wanted to talk about EB2, the National Interest Waiver. So please, if you like this video, please write your comments, write a question if you want me to respond to it, and please share and like so that people can receive this valuable information so they can understand and see whether or not this is an option that they would like to explore. So EB2s are divided into three different categories: exceptional interest, advanced degree, and the national interest waiver. In order to secure the EB2 NIW, you've got to prove the qualifying criteria, a minimum of 3. So this criteria is actually very similar to the EB1A or the O1A in the sense that we have to prove memberships, or we can prove high salary. One of the things that we have to prove is 10 years within the field. So you've got those 3 qualifying criteria that you have to meet. And with the NIW, you've got an additional 3 criteria or 3 questions or 3 prongs that you need to successfully answer so that you can secure the EB2 NIW. But before we go into the EB2 NIW, let's backtrack first. I just want to give you an overview of how one starts the EB2, and I'll give you maybe an example of clients that we're working on right now. So the EB2 is an immigrant visa, which means that it is a permanent solution to remaining here in the U.S. It's not a temporary visa like the O1A or the O1B, but it is the permanent option or the permanent countertop of those, or counterpoint of those options. So usually after a couple of O1s, clients will segue into the EB1A or they'll segue into the EB2. The reason why we selected EB2 a couple of years ago for certain clients was because there was a backlog for the EB1A, meaning that for the first time in many years, the priority date wasn't current, which means that we had to select other options that would make it so the priority dates were current for clients who either qualified or exceeded the qualifications for the EB2. So EB2 is the permanent version. A couple things to know about the EB2 is that there's currently no premium processing option for the EB2. So wait times are around a year. They can be less, they can be more, depending on the time of year that you're filing. This year is kind of a wonky year because it's a transition year. We're going from one administration to a new administration. There were fee increases. A lot of different things have been happening this year. So wait times are generally around 1 year. No premium processing option. So if you are located in the United States, you're going to want to have some sort of non-immigrant status just in case your RFE denied, or you want to make sure that you have a way out if the EB2 doesn't work out for you. But if this is something that you're curious about, you definitely need to speak to a licensed attorney to strategize whether or not a non-immigrant underlying option is something that you can do while you're waiting for the EB2. So the EB2, the reason to choose the EB2 over the EB1A really is a strategic decision, and you really need to speak with a licensed attorney before making your decision. Like I said, EB2 doesn't have the premium processing option, whereas the EB1A does, meaning that you'll get your response in 15 calendar days. So that is important to a lot of people whose fate ultimately depends on whether or not they are able to secure this visa or this green card. If you're located abroad and you're not really interested, or you're not in a rush to move to the US, then the EB2 could be a potentially good option because there's no premium processing. And if you're okay hanging out in your home country, this is definitely something that you might want to explore with your attorney. In terms of the qualifications, I started off the video earlier on saying that there are similarities between the EB1A and the EB2. And some of the similarities include not necessarily needing a job offer. If you don't file the EB2 with an NIW and you decide to file it with an advanced degree or outstanding ability or exceptional ability, then you will need to present a job offer. But for the EB2 NIW, it is similar or equal as an EB1A in terms of not necessarily needing to present a job offer. However, you do need to prove that you will continue to work in your field of endeavor, whatever that field of endeavor is. And to prove that, there are many different ways to do that. You can do it through a declaration. I call them artist statements. It could be an affidavit. It's definitely something that needs to be included because you need to prove that you're going to continue to work in your field or in your field of endeavor. So that is the major similarity and one of the major reasons why EB2s and EB1As are very attractive, because you don't need a job offer, and by not needing a job offer, that means you are self-petitioning for yourself, so self-sponsoring. Now, this is something that's great because, again, what we need to do is prove that you're going to be working in your field without the use of a job offer. So now let's see the regulatory criteria and see if this is something that might be within your radar. But again, you really want to speak to somebody that is experienced in this field to see whether or not you qualify, because a lot of the times you can have outstanding, exceptional achievements, but that may not necessarily rise to the EB1A or the EB2 level. So for the EB2, you've got to prove at least 3 qualifying criteria, and a couple of examples of the regulatory criteria include high salary. So did you make a high salary in the past, or are you set to make a high salary in the future? Another criterion is memberships. Are you a part of any organizations, or are you a member of any organizations due to your merit or due to your expertise? Were you invited? Another criterion for the EB2 is the letters documenting your expertise and your contributions to the different organizations and the different institutions and the different projects that you've worked on. Now, this is really, really important because this ties into the second part of the EB2 analysis, which is the NIW, the National Interest Waiver, the being able to prove the fact that you have substantial merit in your field, that you're well positioned to advance this merit, and that this merit is beneficial to the U.S., and therefore you don't need a job offer and for this job offer to be certified by with an LCA. So those letters are really critical for this second part of the of arguing the petition. 10 years of experience in the field. So you want to have letters documenting that you have 10 years of experience in the field. So these are just some of the regulatory criteria. I think there's an enumerated 6, and you need a minimum of 3 to qualify. After you've argued your minimum three criteria, then you have to move on to the NIW part, basically proving why you don't need a job offer, why what you're doing is of substantial merit and national importance to the U.S., why you are in the unique position to advance this, and why this is beneficial to the U.S. So those are 3 questions that your petition needs to answer. Now, in order for your petition to successfully answer these questions, your attorney really needs to have a strong understanding of you and your position within the overall field that you work in, and also understanding of the significance of your achievements within your position and within your field. So this is a little bit difficult to conceptualize, but with proper strategy sessions and proper investigation, I'm sure whoever you work with will understand these questions and present the answers in a way that the officer is going to understand. So that is the EB2 in a nutshell. These are very, very interesting cases. I love working on these cases because I've worked on really interesting professionals, and I've been very fortunate enough to be able to secure these EB2 NIWs for them so that they can continue their merit, advance this merit, and benefit the U.S. based on their expertise, their knowledge, and their experience. Probably the most interesting EB2 that I've done is for a photojournalist who took a very, very important picture that has circulated in the whole world, and is very, very unique to New York and to feminism and to our monuments that we have here in New York. I cannot reveal the name of the client, but this is a notable case because this client's picture basically transformed modern day feminism as we see it, understand it, and we know it. So I really hope that this was helpful for you. If you like this video, please like, please share, please subscribe to my channel if you want additional information on business-based immigration and all types of immigration. As a reminder, we have offices in New York City, in New Jersey, but we work with clients all around the US and all across the world. Our office is well, we're polyglots. I speak French, English, Italian, and Spanish, and my staff speaks Spanish. So like this video, comment, subscribe, ask questions so that I can answer them in my next live for you. Thank you so much for watching, and we will talk later.